Hey, everyone, welcome back. So, it's 2024, and you'd think we'd be making progress when it comes to equality and mutual respect, right? Well, shocker, there are still a disturbing number of men out there making the most outrageous, unfounded claims about women, like they've learned nothing. What's worse, some of these guys even refer to women as it, completely dehumanizing half the population. It's not just disgusting, it's shocking how far some will go to spew hate. Speaking of shocking, our first story today comes from a 19-year-old guy who claims that giving up on dating was his best decision. 19, and he's already decided women are the problem. Let's dive in and see what's going on in this young man's mind. Quick disclaimer. Before we dive into the first post, we have chosen not to name the original posters of the stories and posts shared. The purpose of this content is to foster dialogue and discussion around important topics, not to target or bring hate to any individual. We encourage you to engage in a healthy discussion in the comments section and share your thoughts about the stories presented. Let's keep the conversation respectful and constructive. Now let's get into it. Hello everyone. I, 19M, came to a conclusion about a month and a bit ago to give up on dating. Why? Oh, well, a lot of reasons. So let me list them. I am a short man at around 5'6". My winner is small, barely touches the 5-inch mark. Heck, a bit smaller even, and got zero money to compensate for that. I'm not attractive, crappy jaw, super introverted and weird. I used to believe that I had a chance and maybe I should work on my personality. Sadly, none of that really worked, and I realised how futile it was, honestly. The last month or so, I joined an incel forum, and it has changed my life so much. It helped me get rid of that false hope I had of having a relationship. I finally feel free. I can be me and stop worrying about how women perceive my nerd loser self. I no longer have to keep silent about my fave games in fear of women finding me revolting. I'm finally happy. For the longest time, I tried to compensate for all my physical cons by changing my personality. But reality is physical appearance matters a lot to women, and I just don't meet that criteria they want. I've heard of the 4-6 rules, being height, figures, penis length, and abs, and I don't fit that at all. I now hope to live a free and happy life without being disturbed about struggling to get women like me, even though the way I look destroys any chance I have. And there you have it. Giving up on dating was his best decision. This guy is convinced that women don't want him solely because he thinks his tiny penis is the problem. Never mind that he acknowledges his personality might be the real issue. Clearly, it's much easier to point fingers at women and their preferences. It's truly absurd how he overlooks the fact that attraction is about so much more than just physical attributes. If he spent as much time reflecting on his personality as he did lamenting about his body, maybe he'd realise that there's more to forming connections than just size or money. At the end of the day, blaming women for his lack of success in dating is not just misguided, it's a clear avoidance of personal accountability. Let's hope he can learn to see beyond his insecurities and understand that self-improvement is key, rather than wallowing in defeat. This next poster sounds like a real gem. As you know, Kamala Harris is running to be the first female president of the United States. Historic and groundbreaking, right? Well, apparently not for everyone. Our next post is from a guy who's not only sexist, but may also be a little racist. He doesn't just think a woman shouldn't be president, especially not a woman like Harris. Let's get into it. Don't vote for Harris. When you vote, be informed. Don't vote for Harris because you hate Trump. Do your research, use your common sense and your God-given intelligence. I mean, Harris says she'll put a cap on grocery prices, which we all know is shades of communism and will result in chaos and shortages. Remember trying to buy food during COVID? She has done nothing in this administration except spew intelligible verbiage and histrionic laughter when asked questions. Look at her history in California as district attorney and as attorney general, how she got to where she is now. Look at what she has not accomplished in the last 4 years before you cast a vote for her. my estrogen wants a woman in the White House, but good grief, not this one. She makes Hillary look good. Another 4 years of this travesty will bankrupt all of us, except those in power. It's the fact that he says, my estrogen wants a woman in the White House, but good grief, not this one. She makes Hillary look good. Yeah, nothing says I'm not sexist or racist like mocking women and belittling a historic candidate. So if you thought the last post couldn't get worse, buckle up. Our next one is called Stop Flaunting Your Nakedness. And it's all about a guy who believes that women wearing skin-tight dresses is basically the same as being naked. Yeah, because clearly, if you're confident in your own body, it's somehow offensive. We've gone from women not being fit to lead a country to apparently not even being allowed to wear clothes that make them feel good. Let's see how this guy manages to turn fashion choices into a personal attack. Stop flaunting your nakedness. Men are wired by God to appreciate the female body. All men are the same. We like curves. Stop flaunting your nakedness. If you don't think being naked in public is a sin, you have a problem. Skin-tight clothing is nakedness. This guy really believes that women should somehow hide their bodies instead of celebrating them. It's almost comical how he equates confidence and self-expression with a lack of decency. Instead of empowering women to embrace their bodies and feel comfortable in their own skin, he's out here trying to shame them for it. Ultimately, this mindset just highlights how far we still need to go in breaking down the stereotypes and judgments surrounding women's bodies. So let's take a moment to appreciate that everyone has the right to express themselves however they choose. And maybe, just maybe, this guy could learn a thing or two about body positivity instead of policing what women wear. All right, just when you think we've reached peak misogyny, here's the next one. This post is titled, I attend a Baptist church with a female pastor. How unacceptable is this? Let's dive into this one and see just how deep the discomfort with female leadership goes. Okay, so I have read Paul's letter that makes it quite clear that women shouldn't teach men. I would really like to see justification for why we shouldn't take this at its word. I've heard reasoning around it being that specific church, but it feels like a get-out. Please keep this non-argumentative. I just want to hear differing points of view to what I normally hear in this sub so I can make up my own mind. Right. Because apparently not only are women not allowed to wear certain clothes, but they also shouldn't be leading a congregation. In this guy's world, a woman in a position of spiritual authority should be completely out of the question. It seems like every time women break barriers, someone's there to remind us how unacceptable progress is. Oh, look! Another revolutionary post from the deep intellectual corners of social media. Females are evil. Groundbreaking stuff, really. I mean, who needs facts or logic when you've got this kind of next-level insight? Get ready, because apparently we've all been missing the obvious this whole time. Females are so evil. All they want is an a-hole who is only good for sex, or an a-hole that has a lot of money. I, unlike other men, love females for what they are, and not for the boobs/arse like every other man. 2 weeks ago, I confessed to a female about how I loved them. It rejected me saying, I'm sorry, but I don't feel that way about you. But I already know it's just a gold-digging whore who would hear a bad wife. Please, females, if you're going to be evil, just make it subtle. Well, apparently, the idea that women are evil is a hot topic because now we've got another guy questioning whether all women are evil. This one's titled, I used to laugh at the notion that women are evil, but as I get older, I find myself wondering if this could possibly be true. Yes, you heard that right. He's genuinely pondering if half the human population is inherently evil, and what's even more absurd. A bunch of men actually jumped in to give their insightful answers. Let's unpack this masterpiece of logic, shall we? The first response? Likely, genetically evil, because they base everything off of emotions and fallacies and assumptions, means that women are prone to delusions. And when I had a conversation with my sister about this, it didn't go well. and she eventually ended up hanging up on me or saying that she could not talk about it anymore. But this is another tactic that they have. They end up doing silence, the opposition, or use mental health things to say, oh, maybe you are crazy for saying this. Of course, it means that they're also ableist and sanist. Hear them when they themselves are the most insane things that have ever existed. I can't wait till we replace all women with robots. Wow! So, according to this guy, women are genetically predisposed to delusions, emotional instability, and apparently are even ableist for pointing out mental health concerns. And of course, the grand solution: replacing women with robots. You really have to wonder how far detached from reality someone has to be to come up with that as a conclusion. But let's not linger on this gem for too long. Now, on to the next guy, who's a bit more generous. He doesn't think all women are evil, just a larger percentage compared to men. His gripe: women don't prioritise their husbands and seem too attached to their families. And naturally, the age-old stereotype that men put up with women for the occasional 15 minutes of pleasure. Real, enlightened stuff here. Let's dive into this one. This guy says, not all women, however, I think a much larger percentage of women are evil compared to men. They also never seem to put their husband first. It's always their family. They are always up their mama's ass or hanging out with their sister. Not that I have a problem with that. It's just they can't go a day without involving them in their life. Very frustrating. Seems like the husband always plays second fiddle to their family. Don't forget, men can destroy the body. However, a woman can destroy your soul, if you let her. Finally, you can't live without them, because they have the pussy, and they know you want it. Therefore, they make your life miserable, except for that 15 minutes of pleasure when the lights go out, if she's in the mood to let you have it. LOL, men have to put up with their bitching, and they are always complaining about something, or just find a pocket pussy or something to relieve yourself. And that concludes the second guy's response to, I used to laugh at the notion that women are evil. I thought about adding more of these less than poetic responses, but thought against it. His perspective that a larger percentage of women are evil compared to men reveals an alarming blend of misogyny and insecurity. He goes on about how women prioritise their families over their husbands, painting a picture of resentment rather than understanding. It's telling that he reduces women to their relationships with men, implying that their worth is based solely on how they fit into a man's life. This kind of thinking not only perpetuates harmful stereotypes, but also ignores the complexities of human relationships. Instead of fostering healthy connections, he's stuck in a mindset that breeds bitterness and blame. Let's hope he, and others like him, can eventually recognise that women are not here to serve men, but to live full, rich lives of their own. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to rethink what evil really means. And just when you think the conversation couldn't get any more ridiculous, the next post asks for some clarification on the concept of women being inherently evil. Because clearly we needed a philosophical deep dive into this baseless theory. This guy's post is titled, Someone Explain to Me Women Are Inherently Evil concept. And it seems he's genuinely looking for someone to justify the absurd claims we've just heard. Let's see what kind of logic gets thrown around this time. Guy 1 says women have no desire for love, and that's inherently evil. Guy 2 responds and says, worse, no desire for commitment either. No compassion, no mercy for people who are seeking a life and a career first. Because women will end up wanting to act stupid and display their private parts to whoever's in their line of sight. Such is the case with my sister, after pumping out multiple kids and doing dumb things with some greasehead she calls a boyfriend. Meanwhile, I'm at least slowing down and making money by busting my bum at a job that I love with minimal casualties. So, in all honesty, not my fault my sister wanted to be a baby maker instead of a money maker like me. I trust that most other women in this world who seek the next guy and their junk on their list would be no different. Wrapping up this discussion, it's incredibly frustrating to see that the idea of women being inherently evil has gained traction as a popular opinion. This mindset not only fosters a toxic environment, but also poses a real risk to women's safety and well-being. When society starts to view women through such a distorted lens, it normalizes harmful attitudes that can lead to discrimination, harassment, and violence. It's essential to challenge these baseless notions and remind ourselves that attributing negative traits to an entire gender is not only unfair, but dangerous. Women are individuals with their own experiences and feelings, and it's time we move past these outdated stereotypes and focus on building a more equitable and respectful society for everyone. So, after all the talk about whether women are inherently evil, we now shift to yet another timeless question. I don't know why women want a career so bad, because apparently in 2024, some men still can't wrap their heads around women having ambitions outside of the kitchen. It's the same mindset we saw earlier with the Don't Vote for Harris post, where a black woman running for president was somehow unacceptable. Now, we're back to questioning why women even want careers in the first place. Let's dive into this one and see what kind of outdated thinking we're dealing with. This guy says, "It sucks. I would much rather take care of my children and focus on their prosperity than some vain ambition. Do you really want a career, or do you want to be seen as the woman who has a career? Are most people even aware of their internal motivations, or do they just believe the excuses they tell themselves?" As we wrap up, it's fascinating and, frankly, disheartening that we're ending on a post titled, "In 2024, women are more valued than ever in the dating market debate." Yes, while some men still cling to outdated notions about women being evil or not deserving careers, others are debating their value in dating. Let's dive into it, shall we? I think current times women are valued more than ever and will be in history. Obviously, we know in the past all men had to do to get a girlfriend or wife was have a job due to women not having independence. But then things started changing. 80s, 90s, 2000s, and in 2012 it all changed when Tinder/social media took off. Women's value on the dating market skyrocketed. Now we have women selling fart jars, OnlyFans, etc. Women have never been valued this highly in history. In the future, there will be sex robots, and in my opinion, women will start regressing value-wise, but for now, it's at its peak. And there you have it. Working on this video has been a stark reminder of how dehumanizing these thoughts can be. Reducing women to mere commodities in the dating market not only strips away their individuality, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes that undermine their achievements and aspirations. So, as we reflect on these posts today, let's recognize that the narratives we've seen, whether about women in leadership, their clothing choices, or their roles in society, are not just outdated, they're harmful. It's 2024, and yet we still have to confront these ridiculous stereotypes and unfounded claims. Thanks for joining me as we navigated this disturbing landscape of misogyny on social media. If you found this video eye-opening, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your thoughts. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss any of our future videos. Remember, change starts with awareness and dialogue, so let's keep the conversation going. See you for the next one.